Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. So, let's just jump right into this. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating topic from the source material, music and society. We usually just think of music as entertainment, right? A catchy beat for our commute, or maybe just some background noise while we're working. But what this chapter brilliantly points out is how music actually functions as a deeply powerful tool in our society. It literally shapes how we think, how we connect with each other, and, as we'll see, sometimes how we divide. So, I want to kick things off by asking you a question. Seriously, do you know what your favorite songs are actually saying? And I don't just mean knowing the lyrics by heart. I mean the underlying messages. We hum along, we tap our feet, but we rarely hit pause to analyze the subtle, everyday societal messages that are totally baked into the music we consume. Well, this explainer is definitely going to challenge you to rethink those everyday playlists.
Here's how we're breaking it all down today. First, we'll look at the power of unity. Second, inspiration from our roots. Third, we're going to dig into a tricky one, the problem of stereotypes hidden in everyday lyrics. And finally, we'll talk about rewriting the narrative.
All right, moving right into part one, the power of unity and how music actually brings us together. If you look back through history, music has always been this massive tool for mobilization. Think about the freedom struggle for a second. Leaders weren't just standing around giving speeches all day. They actively used music as a unifying force to bring people together against British rule. A prime example of this unifying force in action is Rabindranath Tagore. Back in 1913, Tagore absolutely shattered societal expectations. He became the very first Indian, and honestly the first non-European entirely, to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. He is the definition of a barrier breaker, and his work is perfectly tied to this idea of music as a unifying power.
And his most monumental contribution to this kind of music? The national anthem. Now, it was composed in a highly Sanskritized Bangla. But its real power is in the message. The lyrics were meticulously crafted to highlight the nation's incredibly vast and diverse landscapes. The majestic composition isn't just there to sound grand. It was literally designed to evoke deep emotion and explicitly celebrate India's immense diversity. It's like the ultimate example of music engineered to unite people.
Which brings us to section 2, inspiration from our roots. Because honestly, this concept of using rhythmic language to unite people, it goes back thousands of years.
We're talking about ancient texts here, specifically the Vedas and the Upanishads. They totally laid the groundwork for this kind of positive social messaging. These texts use these beautiful, rhythmic, chanted verses with one foundational goal in mind: to inspire us to be kind, truthful, and loving, even when we are completely different from one another. It's basically ancient music being used for the ultimate social cohesion.
And you see this exact same thread centuries later. Iconic figures like Swami Vivekananda drew profound inspiration from those ancient rhythmic texts. Specifically, there's a verse from the Kathopanishad that he famously popularized to inspire action and unity among the masses.
Just listen to his famous call to action. Arise, awake, and stop not until the goal is reached. You can feel the energy in that, right? It's punchy, it's emotional, and it's highly motivational. It just brilliantly illustrates the emotional weight that historical verses can carry across generations to spark a fire in society.
But here's where things get a little tricky. Section 3, the problem of stereotypes. Because as much as music is a unifier, it's also a double-edged sword. It has hidden dangers, and everyday songs reveal that music can just as easily divide us, limit us, and reinforce some pretty negative societal norms. Just so we're all on the same page before looking at examples, let's quickly define our terms. A stereotype is a preconceived idea or generalization based on culture, race, color, gender, or other factors. Keeping that definition in your back pocket is crucial because it actually equips us to analyze the music we're hearing instead of just passively zoning out to it. And guys, when music reinforces these preconceived ideas, it doesn't just happen in a vacuum. It directly impacts children and everyday people in our society. The songs that kids sing on the playground, they actively shape how they view themselves and what they believe they're actually capable of achieving.
Okay, take the kid's song Babua Ki Morgi. On the surface, it's just a simple, catchy tune, but if you actually pay attention to the lyrics, Babua's rooster confidently struts around because he has a crown, right? A fancy plume. Meanwhile, the hen is described as staying quiet and being poor simply because she doesn't have a crown. This is a very subtle, totally casual gender bias baked right into a children's song. It equates the male figure with pride and status and the female figure with quietness and lack.
And we see the exact same thing happening in the song Gudiya Rani.
The lyrics basically tell this princess doll that one day her Prince Charming is going to come from a fairyland and take her away to his palace. Sure, it sounds sweet, but we really have to ask, what stereotype does that actually reinforce? It pushes this idea that a girl must passively wait for a prince to rescue her and upgrade her life. It totally limits her expectations and agency.
And it's not just gender either. Colorism sneaks its way in too. Think about the song Yashomati Maya Se. The lyric has Nandalala explicitly asking his mother Yashoda, "Why am I dark and why is Radha fair?" By drawing that direct questioning comparison, the music unknowingly reinforces these really harmful societal stereotypes based purely on skin tone. It's a textbook example of how deeply entrenched these generalizations can be in our culture without us even noticing.
So, what do we do about all this? That brings us to our final part. Section 4, Rewriting the Narrative. Now that we've identified the problem, it's time for some progress. We don't just have to sit there and recognize biases, we can literally be the change in our music. We have agency here.
The source material gives us this awesome, concrete, three-step procedure to challenge biased media. Step 1. Identify a local song, maybe something in your native language. Step 2. Critically analyze it. Like, what hidden stereotype is it actually reinforcing? And step 3. Rewrite the lyrics to create a positive alternative.
Let's actually try it out on that hen we talked about earlier. Remember the stereotype that Babu's hen is poor and quiet? Let's flip it. The rewrite in the text says, "Why is Babu's hen happy? Because she gives eggs." Bam! Suddenly, the entire narrative is transformed. The hen is no longer poor or somehow less than the rooster. She's given immense value, agency, and happiness based on her own unique contribution. It is literally that easy to completely change a narrative.
The takeaway here is that we need to actively cultivate music that brings us together instead of dividing us with old preconceived notions. So your mission is simple. Find a song that genuinely uplifts you, teach it to a friend, and maybe even think about creating a whole collection of these unifying, motivating songs. Basically, become an active curator of the media you let into your life.
We've explored how music is this incredible societal tool, from the unifying power of national anthems and ancient texts, right down to the hidden dangers of casual stereotypes, and ultimately your own power to rewrite those narratives. Which leaves me with one final question for you. What song are you going to rewrite today? Take a hard look at your playlists, challenge what you hear, and be the change. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the music around you.